Many men reach a point in life where nothing is technically wrong, but nothing feels right either. They're functioning, they're coping, they're getting through the days, yet underneath it all, there's a quiet sense of dislocation, a feeling that the life they're living no longer fits the man they're becoming. John didn't fall apart overnight. There was no single moment he could point to, just a slow drifting away from himself. What once gave him direction now feels distant. What once mattered feels muted. And the harder he tries to return to how things were, the more unsettled he becomes. This isn't failure. It's a transition, and most men were never taught how to recognize the difference. In this part of the journey, John begins to realize something important. The discomfort he feels isn't a sign that something has gone wrong. It's a sign that something old has ended. For a long time, John believed clarity would arrive through effort, that if he thought hard enough, planned carefully enough, pushed long enough, things would fall back into place. But this season doesn't respond to force. It responds to surrender. In the writings we're reflecting on here, there's an understanding that before a man can truly see clearly, something within him must grow quiet. Not because he's weak, but because the noise he's lived with no longer serves him. John begins to notice how much of his life has been shaped by habit rather than intention. Days lived on momentum, decisions made by default, a sense of movement without direction. He isn't lost because he lacks ability. He's lost because the map he's been using no longer matches the terrain he's walking. This stage, often misunderstood, is not punishment. It's preparation. There is a kind of darkness that doesn't destroy a man. It strips him. It removes the false certainties, the borrowed identities, the roles he grew into without choosing. John feels the unease of this stripping, the quiet fear that comes when old answers stop working. And yet, for the first time in a while, he's no longer running from it. He starts to sit with the discomfort instead of distracting himself from it. He notices where he feels resistance, where he feels grief for the life he's outgrown, where he feels a strange, unfamiliar openness. This is awareness beginning to take root. Not clarity yet, not confidence, but honesty. In practical terms, this shows up simply. John becomes more attentive to how he spends his time, what drains him, what numbs him, what quietly calls to him, even if he doesn't yet know why. He stops asking, "How do I get back to who I was?" and starts asking, "Who am I becoming now?" That question doesn't demand an immediate answer. It asks for presence. And presence, practiced gently, consistently, begins to change a man. John isn't fixed by this stage of the journey. He isn't certain, but he is no longer asleep. He understands now that drifting is not neutral. It costs something. And awareness, once it arrives, brings responsibility with it. The real lesson here is this. Sometimes the feeling of being lost is not a failure of direction, but the end of a life that no longer belongs to you. So, if something has shifted inside you while listening, a quiet recognition, a subtle discomfort, a sense that you can't unknow what you now see, that's not something to rush past. Let it settle. You don't need answers yet, but you do need honesty. And the next step, when it comes, won't ask you to escape this darkness, only to walk through it with your eyes open. If this helped you think more clearly, you can like the video and subscribe. It helps this work reach the men who need it.